It's time again for Shasta College football. It's nighttime. All right, here we are, nighttime podcast here in Williams for Shasta County Sports. Along with Coach Bryon Hamilton. The locker room next door to us is being a locker room. Coach, great win last week. Nice to close out the home schedule with the dub. Talk a little bit about that and kind of the ebbs and flows of the game and how it went.
Yeah, great on sophomore night to go out there and play really well. And Santa Rosa and Shasta College go back a lot of years as a rivalry and a good. They're a good program, so it was a good win for us. And I thought our guys, especially in the first half, played really, really well. It was great to see all three phases click. I know we've talked on this podcast before about trying to put all three phases together at one time. And I thought the first half, especially in the first half, we did that. And so when you do that, good things happen. And that's about as good as we can play in the first half.
Yeah, it was, and it was interesting. We talked about it last week. You never knew what we were going to get. And, there's parts of the field that seemed they were chewed up. But you guys were kind of able to assert your dominance on offense, both in the running game and the passing game. You guys looked like you were clicking.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, if you look at I think Eli threw, one incompletion in the first half. It's hard to go 13 for 14 on air or whatever we were, 14 for 15. It really is. I mean, and especially in the mud and stuff, so a little bit of, slippery surface. So, the passing game was clicking. Of course, we ran the ball really well, too. Holden did a very nice job, and our other backs, Miles, did well as well. And offense, it was balanced. It was efficient. That first drive, I think we ate up most of the first quarter, at least half of it, and went on, and got 7 out of it. So it was good. It was nice to see our guys in a game that mattered. All games matter, but in a game we really had to keep our hopes alive of getting in a bowl game and improving our record in conference and moving up that list. It was nice to see us play a fantastic football game.
Yeah, talk a little bit about that, because coming up, not only are you playing for a potential bowl game, but you got rival. You got your rival on the schedule, and for some weird schedule quirk, we've been over this too. You're back at Butte again this year, which, it'd be nice to play them up here. But that being said, you got to do what you got to do. And this week you got to go down and beat a pretty good Butte team.
Yeah, Butte's always good down there. They do a nice job. They have a long tradition. We've been playing them for a long time. There was a hiatus in there for a while where we didn't play them because of different divisions and things of that nature. But we're back in the same conference with them, and we need to go down there and play a very, very good football game, because they're good and they will be ready for us, and they're playing at home, and we got to go down into their place and play a fantastic football game in order to beat those guys down there. But we look forward to the challenge, and it's always fun, and we're slowly but surely improving in this division and getting rosters that can compete with people and beat teams and travel well and do the things you have to do at this level to win. So I think as the rivalry progresses, it'll get even more competitive and more fun to watch.
You mentioned it before we came on that one of the things that you haven't done well is travel, and how do you go about combating that this week? It's a short trip, but nonetheless, it's on the road.
Yeah, our 1:00 kickoffs, we haven't been, really that good. And we've talked as a staff, and we have a lot of years of experience in the staff of traveling and different kickoff times and different, just experience there. And we've talked about it and tried to rectify it. And I feel like our guys travel well. Our guys are focused. We get off the bus and we don't just waste time. We get to work, and it's just for some reason we haven't played really well. And so as the head coach, my job is to figure those things out, take responsibility of aspects of the team that aren't firing on all cylinders. And so we've definitely done that. We've talked about it. We've made some changes, and we'll just keep we expect to go down there and play well. But yeah, you're right. We got the win at Delta. We played really well there, to open that game up. But other than that, we've struggled on the road, and we need to rectify that if we're going to go down there and win.
One of the things that I've seen from the broadcast booth over the last couple of weeks is kind of, and you mentioned him earlier, Holden Gilbert, and just the running game with that offensive line with the Wilson brothers. And one of the things that stood out to me last week was Shiloh Nicholson's just He plays with a little bit of a nastiness, what I think you want from your offensive lineman. And there was a couple times, even the week before, where the player got ejected, but and he was like sticking up for his quarterback. You want that out of your offensive linemen, and you want them to kind of be able to set the tone. You're gonna have to be physical with the Butte team this week, right?
For sure. In our offensive line, we start 5 freshmen and we rotate 1 sophomore in there, Ben Schrader. Yeah, we're going to have to go down there and play well. They're doing a great job. They're getting better every week. I think statistically it shows it. I think our production shows it. Coach Lewis, who's the offensive line coach, does a great job. And when you go into a season, you look at starting 4 freshmen and 1 sophomore, and then 5 freshmen. As a head coach, that's scary. But they've done a great job, and it's a physical group. And Shiloh, you mentioned him. He's a great young man out of Eureka High School and fits into our program really well. He's a good player, getting better every week, and he's a monster of a man. He's huge. All of our guys though, our center Danny's playing tremendous. Amua, our right guard's playing well. The Comeyford brothers on the left side, and then Ben Schrader working in there as well, have been playing well. Another group that I think has been blocking well and playing better over the conference play has been our tight ends as well. Trey Foster doing a great job in the run game, blocking and catching some passes, and Juan Phoenix Chavez doing the same thing. So we're going to have that kind of production. We are going to have to be physical. It will be a physical game, and for us to go down there and win, we're going to have to establish some dominance, or at least some physicality in the run game.
Last week you mentioned to me that there was a possibility of Gabe Curtis, and we saw it on actually the same drive, mixing and matching. Secret will be a little bit out of the bag, but is that in play for this week?
Well, yeah, I mean, obviously Butte's, they're like all the other schools. They're going to watch a ton of film, and they're going to see that we got Gabe back in there. He was finally cleared to play. He's been out since the third play of the ARC game. So it was just on just not a non-football note as far as that game goes. It was just nice to see him back on the field. But strategically and game planning wise, he's a good quarterback. I mean, he had really good games early on in the season. Beat a good DVC team on his back. So we'll get him in the game, and I know Butte knows when he gets in the game, we're doing some different things, and they know that. We know what we're doing with him in the game too. So it's just a matter of execution, but it does add another wrinkle. It does get another athlete on the field, and it does allow us to go out and make the defense react and make the defense prepare for other things.
Defensively, what are you going to have to do to Butte in order to be able to limit them enough for your offensive production?
They've had a really good year offensively. They do a nice job. And they're well balanced. We'll talk about their passing game. They've got several good receivers. Obviously, Jalen Hammer is a tremendous. Him and Tyler Carrier, I think, are leading the conference in receiving. He does a really, really good job. Tanner Hughes, their quarterback, he's having a phenomenal year. I think he's only thrown 2 or 3 interceptions on the year, and over 20 touchdowns. So he's good. And so in the passing game, you got to defend that. And then on top of that, they're physical in the run game. They get you in a lot of double tight end sets, a lot of shifts, a lot of motions. And you got to be consistent in the run and stopping their run, or at least containing their run, and so that they're not chewing clock and wearing you out and then making you get into a heavy box of defense and then getting one-on-one with really good receivers. So, I mean, you got to go out and play your best defensive game of the year. We need to play like we did in the first half against Santa Rosa defensively, go back to the DVC game holding a really powerful offense to 9 points. We need to have one of those kind of efforts for us to go down there and win this football game, and our defense has been playing better. And I think they're up for the challenge, but it'll be a good test and a fun game.
And lastly, it is a rivalry game, and I know last year there was a little bit of saltiness that you score in the last play, so you don't get shut out. I think they were salty. It's a different year, but nonetheless, the rivalry is there. And how do you kind of impart that to these guys that these are the guys you really want to beat?
Well, I mean, hey, listen. You look on your schedule every year and you got local teams that you're playing. Siskiyou's being one of a rivalry, Butte being another rivalry, Santa Rosa being another one. But this is a big game. I'm not going to say it's not a big game. But, they've had our number for a long time. I mean, that's just the facts. I mean, I wish I could say it wasn't true, but that's the facts. They've had our number for a long time. They run a good program. They do a nice job. They're going to be up for this game. And until we start, and I think we're getting there, and this year, we're going to go down there, and we're going to have a heck of a football game, and I expect our guys to go out there and play their tails off and win a football game. Until we start doing that consistently, it's been a one-sided rivalry right now. So that's the truth of the matter. So what we got to do is, as a team, is focus on, hey, this is a good football team. We're a good football team. This is an hour and a half away. This is teams that have been playing each other for years, and we need to get back up there where it's a competitive, every year you don't know who's going to win type of game, and that's what we're shooting for.
Well, the rivalry starts Saturday at 1 p.m. Shasta County Sports will be broadcasting, making the road trip down there with you. Good luck, and appreciate all the help you've given us this season.
Yeah, it's been fun, and been another good year for Knights, especially here at home. And I just want to thank you guys. I want to thank our fans. We got a good group of guys, and we appreciate your support down the entire season.
You've been listening to Nighttime with Bryon Hamilton. I'm Aaron Williams for Shasta County Sports. Nighttime is a Shasta County Sports production brought to you by Shasta Orthopedics.